Welcome to Coffee Talk. I love meeting people, I love talking to people and hearing their story. And I think this is a great story for a lot of people out there who have a side gig. I wanted to talk to Kevin about how his side gig became his main gig. Maybe you want your side gig to become your main gig. How does that happen? So Kevin, tell us a little bit. Welcome.
Yeah, so my career started off, I was at Sephora. I was a regular employee, worked my way up to basically management, and I did that for 10 years. And I was there for, from when I was 18 and really grew up with this company, kind of learning everything, learning about the business. And then while I was there, I was freelancing. So freelancing is basically, I was just a freelance bridal makeup artist. I was a freelance makeup artist, just doing every makeup gig I could get on my days off and weekends, right before work, after work, whatever it was. And then when I hit my 10-year mark, I was coming towards the end of my career and I was like, okay, something's got to give. I want to do something else. And I didn't have a thing lined up. I gave my notice because I said I need to, I will find out what I want to do. And I know I can work for a brand or go do something, but I was like, I think it's just time to go. So I gave my notice, I gave them a month, and I gave myself a month. So I was like, give them a little bit more than 2 weeks to figure this out, but also for me, more importantly, because I was concerned about what I was going to do. And I started freelancing for a skincare brand and a makeup brand and a hair care brand too. So I was working 3 different jobs, freelancing full time and just doing different days. Sometimes I would do a morning shift and then a late shift with another brand. And right as I was leaving, my friend had a podcast it was already established. It was without me. And he said, why don't you come on for an episode? And I was like, oh my God, I've always wanted to do something like that. That's cool. I'll come on for the episode and why not? So I go on, do it. It was great. It was my first time in front of a camera. So it was very weird and it felt awkward. But by the end of the episode, I forgot that the cameras were there. And the reception was wild. And it was this chemistry that I had with my friend that you can't buy that. And you can't it's organic. You can't make that kind of chemistry with somebody. And I thought it was this beautiful moment where I was reading the comments thinking I was almost bracing myself for people to just be horrible and say the worst things because it's the internet.
Right.
And I found myself falling in love more and more at the thought of me being there. And I get a text from him saying, I think you should come on for a second one. Let's do another one. It went so well. Let's do it again. And I said, okay. And it was a third. And then by the third one, he was like, I think you need to come on full time. And I said, okay. So I was still freelancing for the makeup brand, the skincare brand, the hair care brand. While doing all 3 of those, doing the podcast, filming minimally once or twice a week, doing that because it comes out every Sunday. So it was a routine. We've never missed a week since then. We are on episode 76 now.
Wow.
So we are going strong. I came in at episode 9 so I've been there ever since.
So tell everybody before you go on.
Yes.
They want to know the name of your podcast.
Yeah, so it's Beautiful and Bothered. So it's YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And then now there's Beyond Bothered, which is our Patreon. So the world, we call it our universe is expanding where you can see us and dive in. And it's amazing to have this is where now it gets into it, where it's a subscription-based platform. And I didn't think even at first of doing this, I was like, it's not gonna be able to become my full-time job as much as I want it to be, but it is the thing of I had to follow my dreams at that point because this is what I've always wanted to do. I always say I'm built for this. I was made to do something in the beauty industry, but I didn't just want to be a makeup artist anymore, but I wanted to do that and this and be known for something a lot bigger. I have so much knowledge. I have so much advice to give to people. So it was hard and it was a weird transition. And it just happened recently where I was looking at my time and I said, I really need to make more time for the podcast and make more time for social media because it is a full-time job. Being a content creator in that sense is quite literally time consuming. It is so daunting to think about it because it takes hours of filming to get one episode together. And it's a lot of work just to sit down, get it all, turn the lights on, get the studio ready. It's a lot to do, but thank God I'm with my friend who, is very helpful right now, even teaching me how to do certain things and transitioning into this being my full-time job.
That's really great.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you felt like you always knew it was there, but you really weren't sure, I imagine, what it was.
Yeah.
Right? So you knew that you loved to help people look their best.
Yeah. And I wanted to help people look their best, and I wanted to help people on a greater scale, but doing makeup just wasn't enough anymore. It became transactional. Doing people's makeup, it was like, I'll never see this person again. They'll probably book me for a wedding a year from now, but I'm like, I'm not making as much of a difference as I want to make. And making people beautiful and making them feel great about themselves was amazing. It was gratifying, but then it almost became like, I'm doing this because they're paying me and not because it's like, I'm not making a difference. And I'm not really helping people, where now the comments are flooding in, and the amount of stories that we get told that like what we do and just talking to us, because we've had episodes where we talk about, life in general, of like, it's not all it's cracked up to be. And there are days where we're still human. We still have rough days. We still have amazing days, but you have to take that all in account, that when we turn that camera on, we're turning it on.
Right.
We are putting on like that energy, and there are days where we put it on and we have those candid conversations where it's a little more scaled back and it's a little more raw. And it's amazing getting to be that honest with people. Growing a family like that online, they really are like a family to us at this point, because they really do look to us, and they know me like they're my friends.
Wow.
They know so much about us. They can, they're asking for meet and greets. They're asking to like, I want to see you in person. I would love to hug you. Like, you've shared so much with us. And it's amazing that sharing about beauty and being vulnerable, you break down those walls and you build amazing relationships.
That's great. And it's great that you feel it's reciprocated, even though you can't see these people. Like, you feel warmly towards them, but you never met most of them.
Oh yeah. And it's amazing when I have met people have stopped me in public before, and I'm like, how do you, like, this is amazing that you even like know who I am. They're like, I can't even believe I'm talking to you. They're like, I love you so much, and just your message behind everything. And I think that's the most gratifying feeling I felt in a long time, from any amount of work that I've wanted to do. And it's just because I followed my passion. I kept telling myself, I can't do that. I got to work a full-time job. I need to work 40 hours a week. I have to do this. I have to do that. And while I am working, I'm, working 3 jobs at the time. I'm now realizing that, I had to work to where I got, and we were only doing this for a little over a year, but I knew I was building up to something so much more meaningful in this lifetime, to do as gratifying of work as I can do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And we've had other podcasts also where people talk about leaving their more corporate job, right? And when was it time to leave? So you did the same thing. You left a corporate job, right?
Yeah.
And after 10 years, you're like, I feel like there's something more out there for me, and I have to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
But that takes a lot of guts. Even that transition, right, to your working and representing 3 different brands, that also was a big move.
Oh yeah, it was a little daunting at first, because I thought about it, that I was offered a promotion the night before I handed my notice, and my boss said, I need an answer by 8 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to be here together. He's like, let me know then. So I walked in with my letter, and I said, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm going to be all right. Like, I am totally okay with this. No matter what happens, I'm going to be fine. And it was interesting, the conversation of, it was like an open door, like, you can always come back. And I'm like, I appreciate that, but I'm okay. Like, this is fine, where this chapter is going to come to an end, and I'm okay that this is one book that I can close and like put on the shelf and be done with it. Because when you're at a job, and when I was looking at the 4 walls I was contained in, I was like, I want to like break through the ceiling. I am so much more than this place. And I know I have so much to offer this world. And when you feel that, you have to trust your gut. And that's what I did. I was so scared. I was so nervous, but I knew I can get another job in a heartbeat. So I was like, why not take the risk? You have one life to live. And that's what I've always told myself. I have one lifetime to make the best of it. Right. And that's why I have to do everything I can to make myself happy and have fun. That's the best part. I'm having fun now. I'm laughing at my job, which is not always the case.
Right, that's true. When you're in a corporate job,
Yeah.
especially you were serving customers,
Yeah.
right, in your retail job, and then
Yeah.
you're servicing brands. So it's probably a slight change, but now it's your customer is very different. Let's just say.
Yeah, and reading in the comments, I might not be able to respond to all of them because it does. That's where it gets overwhelming. That it's a new boundary to set, even for myself. I can't be on my phone all the time, trying to read everything, comment on everything, like everything, and engage as much. And I have to almost set like a time limit of engagement, and then respond to what I feel I am going to do. My timer goes off, and I'm like, okay, put your phone down. Spend time with family, got to spend time with my friends. I don't want to like neglect relationships. And that's unfortunately where I was neglecting my family and personal relationships because I was so wrapped up in my work that I started to realize I wasn't spending time with my family.
Wow.
Because I was working, so I was missing holidays, I was missing birthdays, I was missing all of these events that I started to say, I need to work somewhere where I have that work-life balance, but I'm in control. And you know, it's incredible that I'm like the happiest I think I've been in over 10 years.
It's great that
Yeah.
you had this outcome. So,
Yeah.
what would you say to people who are looking to like, make a change, right? If they feel like there's something else out there, but they don't know what it is, like not everybody has the capability to
Right.
necessarily be able to sort of take that leap. So you're lucky in that sense that
Yeah.
you were able to do that. Sometimes it's hard to follow your gut though.
It is because I think we naturally think that, oh, I'm overthinking it. I'm dreaming too big here. But I would say for anybody that's thinking about leaving their job and they are really unhappy, there are too many jobs in this lifetime that we can pick from. And that's the thing. It's when you have that gut instinct, when you're like, if you're just like toying with the idea, you're not there yet. You will know when it's time to leave because someone always was in my corner, one of my old coworkers who she was like a mother to me, and she said to me, she was like, one day you're just gonna know. And she's like, and I just want you to just remember me one day when you leave here and I'm still here. And she was one of my closest friends, and I will never forget her. She has passed on now, but I will always live with those memories that she encouraged me the most. She goes, you'll know when you're ready to leave this place. And when you feel that at a job, don't neglect that thought, because that is something so serious to me that it can affect your mental health. And there's always going to be another job. And LinkedIn was my best friend. That's how I got all these like recommendations for jobs and everything. I put myself out there, and you never know. Put your skills out there. Put your, like, if you love to bake, put yourself out there, and you never know like where you can go be an assistant somewhere, or like get a new job that's going to pay you probably the same amount of money if you're lucky. But I would say if you feel that, just put your resume out there more than like just keep throwing it out there, because you never know what you're going to find.
Throw the net
Yeah.
wide. That's what I always
Yeah.
provide advice to people. I'm mentoring my own children.
Yeah.
When they're looking for a job, I always said, throw the net wide.
Yeah.
'Cause you never know what's going to hit.
And honestly, never in a million years did I think this could be something that I could have done. And this is my dream job,
Right.
but like this to other people would not be their dream job, is like being chronically on the internet. But I was always petrified of it, but in like a way of like, I want to do that so bad, but I don't know how to do it. And it was my dream. And that's where I had to start to ask myself, why can't you do this? What's stopping you from doing this? Since you dream about this all the time, you know you want to be here, you can picture it. And I was told my whole life, they were like, I could see you doing this. All of these other people on YouTube and doing whatever, and podcasts and beauty channels, they were like, we can have you, like we could see this being you, but you have to want it. And that's where I had to like stop myself in my tracks and say, why do I not have the courage to do this? And it was all in my head.
Right.
I was telling myself I couldn't do it as a job.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's really good that you put it out there and then you went to find it. And you did it in a transition, right? You were representing 3 brands because you needed change.
Oh yeah.
And then you were able to really pursue your passion
Yeah.
and succeed in it. And look at all your viewers.
Yeah.
Are just so happy that you're here, including
Yeah.
me.
Yes.
Look how lucky I am that I get to sit with you on the couch.
I love
so
it.
for me, that's also a great thing. But
Yeah.
you know, these career transitions and feeling like there's something else out there for you, it isn't just for the young. I
No.
just want to list it because it happened to me. And I had a transition, and it's been 2 years. And this is right now a hobby that I enjoy, tying my baking into career advice. But I also had that same thing, like there's something else out there for me, and I'm not sure what it is yet. And I actually still feel that way. I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but I know that it's there.
But this is the step.
Right.
This is the exact step. This is, I believe we're all destined to be where we are in the exact moment that we are. There's a plan that we just have to figure it all out. And I'm a firm believer in that. Everything happens for a reason. You know, you stay at a job for whatever period of time, and people come into your life for a season, reason, or a lifetime. And you learn lessons all throughout your life. And I've learned very, very hard lessons about my life and my personal life and my work life. And I had to quickly even learn too, I can't let this tear me down right now in the height of my career, of the height of things really rising, because this could ruin what I have if I don't learn to put that aside and balance out my life physically. Because when you start to listen to yourself that, and I've heard it countless times, I'm too old to do this, I can't do this, I shouldn't do that, I know I need to have more security. And that security blanket feels great, right? Like that when that
Right.
paycheck is coming in and you feel safe, that's great. But are you really happy? And whether or not it's a career change, but I think at least pursuing a hobby or pursuing something like this and putting your passion into something, that's when you realize what you're made for. And I realized that very shortly after doing it. I was like, this is what I was made for. This is exactly where I should be right now. And it's such a beautiful feeling, because there are days where like it's put me into tears, because I'm like, I'm finally living the life that I know I was born into.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I hope everybody's taking that to heart and like listens, and maybe listens to your gut instinct.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll be as lucky as Kevin. I hope.
Yes, I hope so.
Right.
I do.
And I'm honored that I have the gift of his presence to share all this knowledge with everybody, because I think it's awesome, you know, to hear how you sort of pursued your passion, how you thought it was out there. And I think that it applies to many people in multiple different types of careers.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's worldly knowledge. You know, it really helps a lot of people. So thank you for spending this a little time with me.
Yes, I love it.
I really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
And we have our Aperol spritzes because it is summer. So I think
love
we're
it.
going to wrap it up with
Yeah.
Catch You Later with Cookies and Careers.
Yeah.
You ready? Let's do it.
All
And we
right.
have chocolate chip cookies,
Yes,
of
I
course.
love it.
So ready?
Yep.
Catch you later on Cookies and Careers.